I recently saw a Rhett Shull video entitled something like 1 guitar, 1 amp, 3 pedals. It was Paul Davids who had asked him what those would be if he was limited to those. And I thought about what would mine be. And the answers were a bit surprising. So I thought I'd make a video about it. Hello and welcome to another video with me, Elmo J. Karjalainen. It's good to have you along. Today I'm talking about which guitar, which amp and which 3 pedals I would have if I was limited to only those. Before I get going, which would you have? So pause this video and have a think and let me know in the comments. And please, also, feel free to let me know why those. Anyway, I'm going to talk about which ones I chose and why I chose them, and I think if you're familiar with this channel, you will guess which guitar I'm going for, but the others, at least a couple, might be quite surprising. So let's start with the obvious one, the guitar. Yes, you guessed it. Yeah, I would get one of these. No, I would get one of these. A Strat of some sort. It doesn't have to be a special kind of Strat necessarily, but the one I would choose out of the ones that I have is this one, and it's a custom mahogany Strat with Seymour Duncan, YJ and Fury pickups. They're stacked humbuckers, so they cancel noise but sound kind of in between regular humbuckers and single coils. It has a Wilkinson trem with the 2-point thing, so you get a kind of Jeff Beckier type of thing than on a regular Strat. But basically, a Strat is a brilliant all-round guitar, and for me, it feels like home. I have scallops on my Strats, but I'd be happy with just a regular, even something like this, a regular old classic vibe Strat. Okay, then, what next? I'll leave the biggest surprise maybe to last. But what would I get if I had 3 pedals? Put away the guitar. First, I'd need an overdrive. Which overdrive would I get? No, it's not the Fender Yngwie Malmsteen overdrive. It's this. It's the Strymon Riverside. Actually, I'm a bit torn between this and the Strymon Sunsets, but I think I prefer this one. But as an only overdrive, I might actually go for the Sunset because that's a bit more versatile. But let's just go with this. The great thing about this is it sounds great, but it has a built-in noise gate, which would be one more pedal. But I have that built in here, so maybe this is cheating. I don't know. But this is one pedal, and it can do 2 different sounds, so it has on, off, and then you can store a favorite sound, which is brilliant. So I'm kind of circumventing here, but anyway, so I get a bit more variety. The second pedal I would get is a delay, maybe something with a reverb in it as well, but that might be something like the Moore Ocean Machine. What annoys me about that is when you switch sounds, there's a bit of an audio dropout. This one has no such issues. It's the Strymon Timeline, but it's only a delay. I prefer delay most of the time. I would probably go for this, but I'd be happy with something like this as well. The TC Electronic Flashback, it could be the mini one, although you're a bit limited. With this, you can do different types of things. So this, the Strymon Timeline, would be my second pedal of choice. Now, originally I had thoughts that the third pedal would be a wah, because I really like a wah. But then I realized there's something even more important than a wah. Something totally uncool and unsexy. This, a volume pedal. You need this when you play live. Well, not that anyone's playing live at the moment, but anyway. Why do you need this? Well, I use it, I stick it in the loop so that I can boost my solos, so that the front of house guy doesn't have to do that. Now, if it's some random front of house guy, you don't know what you're gonna get anyway, and the person will not know where you have your solos. So you need to be doing this stuff if you want to cut through when it's time for your solo. So this is absolutely brilliant. And even if you play, or your band has your own sound guy, that guy might remember to lift your solos, might not. So this really, I mean, if it's at your feet, it's much better than someone else. Oh yeah, we're halfway through the solo, let me lift that a bit. I think this is so important and so underrated. You need one of these. Then we get to the third one, which is the amp. Now, you probably guessed that I would be getting this, or would have guessed if I hadn't said it's a surprise. Most people would assume, and I had actually assumed when I started thinking about this, that I would just pick the Plexi. But I decided I wouldn't. What would I get and why? I would get one of these. A Harley Benton Tube 15. Why is that? Well, because this can serve as your practice amp, your band practice amp, your recording amp, and your gigging amp. If you only have one amp, you don't want to be carrying this and a cab with you. You want something a bit more compact with great sounds. And this little beast has absolutely brilliant sounds. It comes with a reverb, which is nice. I don't particularly like the reverb in this, but if you want a reverb, that's a good thing. You also have a speaker out, so you can use it with a cab, which is brilliant. And it has a send and return, so you can get your delay in the loop. I feel almost dirty saying I'm getting to use one of these. But it's just such a great amp, especially for the price. There might be pricier combos out there that might be better, but at the moment it kind of escapes me. And out of the ones that I've tried firsthand, this would definitely be it. Weird. It's 240 euros. Probably one of the best pieces of gear ever. Okay, so what would that rig sound like? Let me get this hooked up and show you in a minute. Okay, so here is my setup, and this is what it sounds like without the pedals. Now, the great thing about this amp is that you can get cleaner tones. Or more overdriven tones. This is how much. Now that's not how I would be using it. I would add quite a bit of volume. Maybe something like that. If you want reverb, you can use that. I don't like it too much. Now, first things first, let's add some delay, because I like delay. And then you can add some overdrive from the Strymon Riverside. Maybe a bit less. Now you can, this has a 3-band EQ plus a tone, so you can get quite a lot of different types of tones. Then we have the volume pedal. Let's say you're playing this. Okay, so I have too much dip in the volume, but with all the compression and all that, maybe that's better. So you're playing quiet, and then it comes your time to shine. Something, whatever you play. The volume pedal is absolutely brilliant. And then, because I chose the Strymon Riverside, I can choose to go clean. Now, this isn't entirely clean. A bit more overdriven. The type where you can clean it up with just your volume pots. And then you can go full on face melting shred. The only thing with this amp is that the stock speaker is a different one. It comes with a Celestion, but this one has a G12M Celestion, 20 watt thing. But the stock speaker was fine, and it sounds so good through a cab. But if you want to check out how it sounds with a cab, you can check out the review I did of this amp. Just 3 pedals. 1 guitar, 1 amp. I could just live with this. That would be brilliant. But then again, it's fun to have a bunch of stuff in it. So, if you want to watch more of my videos, there are playlists here. Join me on Patreon because you get all of my music and a bunch of exclusives and access to my Guitar Academy. Click like if you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that bell notification thing. And like I said, let me know which pedals and amps and what not you would have. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you in another one. Take care. Goodbye!